Hi there, this is Pam. I'm a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator, and today I have a technique video to share with you. I'm going to show you how to color this new image from the Moon Lake stamp set that's in the Occasions catalog. And I'm going to be using the brand new chalk inks that are also in the new Occasions catalog. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And here's the stamp set. I'll show you that first. This is called Moon Lake, and it has the 3 images there, and it has 2 sentiments. And we're going to be using the bird image today. And I have colored these 2 images and put them on cards that I actually have for sale in my Etsy shop. I just started putting cards up for sale in my Etsy store. My shop name is called Stampin. You can check those out. There's only a couple listings right now. But these are more geared towards the guys, so I thought I would put them in my shop for sale. But these are colored the same way as the bird image there. It's just a little bit more muted colors. Like I said, they're for the guys, so they're not all cutesy and pretty. But it uses the same technique. So, to color these with the chalk inks, I have used these blender, I think they're called stumps, artist stumps. They are in the art department of any craft store. They come in various different sets. You can see there's some real large ones, and then these real small ones here. But they're easy to use. I found that they color nice with the chalk inks. So that's all I've used to color those with are these. And my last video I shared, it leaves your paper perfectly flat. It doesn't pill up. It won't peel your paper. It's perfectly flat. I love that. I love that you can color with the pigment inks. So let's get started on that. Now here's the image that I stamped, and I've stamped it with chocolate chip. That's just our regular dye ink. That's the chocolate chip pad there. And I've let it dry because the new stamp pads from Stampin' Up! Will, especially on the Whisper White and the Very Vanilla, when you ink it, let it sit to dry just a couple minutes because it takes a little while for it to dry on this slick surface. So I've stamped that already and let it dry. And let me move my camera up just a tad for you. Alright. So to get started, I'm going to use this one as a guide because I'm going to color it the same way. And I'm going to start on this side here. So take your chalk ink, and I'm going to grab a little scrap of paper, because what I like to do is to put my blender stump into the ink, just like that, and then just kind of practice a little bit with it, get the ink onto that pen. And you want to do a light hand with it. You don't want to push down real hard because you will make your blender stump get like a hard spot on it, because this is just paper. It's all that these are made out of. So get your image there and get some ink on it, and just with a light hand, it's almost like watercoloring a little bit. It doesn't have to be exact, you know, like staying in the lines or whatever. It kind of gives a watercolor effect somewhat, except on the bird. I did manage to keep them all in the lines there. And you can blend this. If you get a dark spot, sometimes the dark spot does stay there, but you can blend it in a little bit to get that dark spot more blended. So now I'm going to go in with the pink. It's called Rose Coral. The yellow that I use is called Yellow Citrus, and then there's a kind of an aqua green color. It's called Aquamarine. And then very lightly I'm going to go over this with the pink. just to give it a little bit more tone of some brown in it, instead of that bright yellow. So there's the, I don't know what those are called, the little, they almost look like cattails, but I don't think that they are cattails. But that's good for that. Now we will go in with the aquamarine. And this dark color here, you can get quite a few variations. You can get it dark, you can get it really pale blue. You find the right spot on my blender pencil here. Alright. So just very lightly go in with these, and if you need darker, why, you can go back and color it in a little bit darker. I think I went over a little bit, obviously that's not dark enough, with the yellow, to get it more look like a little bit more green. Because see here, I created that green with the aquamarine, and then went over it with the yellow. Yellow and blue make green. And just keep blending all that in. Like I said, you don't need a real heavy hand, and you will hear kind of a squeaky squeak. Almost sounds like you're coloring on it with an alcohol marker. That's because the paper pencil there will get a little bit of a hard spot on it. Like I said, it's just the nature of this pencil. It could also be because we're using kind of a wet medium of the ink on these pencils. I think a lot of times they use like charcoal or pencil for the blending. But they work great for the pigment inks. I love this new coloring medium. Alright, so there I colored in a little bit of the grass with the aquamarine. And now I will go back with the yellow and make that more green. And if you get too much of the one color, well, you can always go back. You know, if I get too much yellow, I can go back and put some more aquamarine on it to get it the right color that I want. But I think it's, whoops, obviously that's the wrong color. I love that you can get all these different colors from just these 3 ink pads, because these are the only 3 that are available right now in the Occasions catalog. So that's cool that you can get all these various colors with just 3 ink pads. There, so then there's the grass. And I think I'll start in with the bird, and since I already have the yellow, I'm going to very lightly, and I kind of go in a circular motion so I don't get really streak marks, which you shouldn't get with these these blender stumps, because they are paper. There's not really a line at all in there. And then his chest I don't really know what kind of bird I colored in it here. I just started coloring. It kind of looks like a sparrow, or it could be a little finch or something, but I kind of just made up my own bird color, which is fine. So if you want a darker color, I mean, you can just keep blending that in. Add more ink if you want a darker color. And I put a little yellow on his tail, and a little yellow up here on his wing. And I think I'll make his breast just a little bit darker. Alright, so then switch over here. We'll go back to the aquamarine color. And we'll give him some shading a little bit on his wings. I think I added just a little bit darker shade there on his breast too, just to make him a little bit more dimensional and give him some shadow in there. Now you will, with these blender stumps, you will keep having to re-ink quite a bit, putting your blender stump back down into the ink. even though you can blend it out, you will have to go back and re-ink a little bit. I'll give him a little shadowing there on his tuft. And his beak I'll make a little bit darker. And his feet going directly onto paper. And a little bit more yellow in here on his wing. I think I will even add just a tad bit of pink this time on this one. Yeah, that's good. Maybe even a little bit on his head. There, so there's the coloring of the bird. I like that. I think this is a great new chance for someone to try another coloring technique. That they don't like watercolors, or maybe they don't like the blender pens, or even alcohol markers. This is another great coloring. So let's do this, the little branch there, and I actually could achieve a brown tone on that one. So what I did was used pink, and then I used yellow. And I didn't use a whole lot of color. I kept it really light, because you don't want it too pink. I mean, wood is not pink in color at all. So I just lightly went over it with that pink. It's almost like a rose color of pink. Very pretty. And then we'll go back over it with the yellow, the citrus. Very lightly again. You don't have to push down on these too awful hard. And you can just keep blending and blending and going back over it as much as you think that you need more color in. See, that makes it look brown. I like that. So let's do the pink and the flowers. I did do them just in the straight pink. I did not add any other color to them. I kept them the same as the ink itself. And if you want them lighter color, well, you can make them, you know, blend them out and make them lighter. Those are the flowers there. And then I did go in and just wisp a little bit of the aquamarine in there for some green. You can do it as light or as dark as you want. My coloring picture here is a little bit make-believe. It's not exactly true colors to what nature provides, but I don't care. I like that. I think it's great. Maybe add a little bit more over on this side. Yeah, maybe a little bit more on his wings. There. See how easy and quick it is to color those using the chalk inks. Whoop, my camera's, sorry, way off. I have not gotten yet a extension pole for my tripod. That is supposed to have been on my Christmas list, and I have not gotten it yet. So my rig job is still working for me at the moment. I just have to keep adjusting my camera, so I apologize for being off if I was. Alright, get the lids back on my inks. And on this one, I did even go back, I don't know how close I can get without it being blurry. I did very lightly go over that with the aquamarine to give a slight blue background for sky, so it's not just all completely white. And then I die cut that out with the Deco Labels framelits. And the closest color I think that we have to match this rose coral is the, what is that, Calypso Coral. Last year's in colors, if you still have that pink, and I can't even remember the name, it would match it perfectly. But I think that's pretty close enough. I used the next size or the second size up to cut that one out. But like on these cards, I just stamped it right on the front, and this is in very vanilla. See, this is the white, and then that's the very vanilla. It does mute your colors a little bit more using the vanilla, but I like this bird image onto the white. I think it really it makes the inks bright and it makes them show up a lot. So I hope that you give this a try. If you do not have these and you don't have the money to spend on on buying these, try a Q-tip. You might have to go through a couple Q-tips because they might start fuzzing out. But try a Q-tip and just practice, on a scrap piece first and see how that works for you. These actually I got from a garage sale a long time ago, so I don't know how much they are new, but I wouldn't imagine they're too expensive because they're paper. That's all that is, just a big rolled up piece of paper, but they work excellent on coloring with these new pigment inks. So if you'd like to see more projects, you can visit my blog. It's wearestampers.com. And if you'd like to order any of these products, there's a link right on my blog to my Stampin' Up! Website. You can order 24 hours a day. Or if you need some help with ordering, just give me a holler. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!